Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing a fill and I'm going to be doing a Halloween design as well. So I'm going to start by prepping my client's nail, starting from the right, making my way to the left. This way I do not have lifting. You have to make sure you spend time to prep your client's nail properly because most of the time lifting starts with your prep work. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to remove any excess hanging cuticles. That way when I'm applying my cuticle bead, this is not going to be in the way, or if I'm polishing as well, like this can be very annoying if you have hanging cuticles and you're trying to apply your cuticle bead or polish. If you're not comfortable, you do not have to go deep. You can just remove like the excess. So now I'm going to come in, I'm going to use my young nail swipe to dehydrate the nail. This is going to remove any excess oil from the nail. Also, I used a lint-free wipes. Now I'm using my Young Nails Protein Bond and I'm going to give this 2 coats. You do not want to over flood with your protein bond because that can also cause lifting. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to apply my first bead just above the cuticles. You never want to apply your bead exactly in the cuticle because you want to leave enough room for the acrylic to settle in and to form. So if you apply just like on top of the cuticle, it's going to be a high possibility that you are going to flood the cuticle area. So just above the cuticle, and then you give it like gently tucks just to tap it in the cuticle area. Whenever you're applying acrylic, you want to be very gentle because you do not want to overwork your acrylic and give yourself excess work. So just be very gentle with your acrylic application and remember light tapping motion and guide your acrylic to the tip of the nail. Sometimes, because I do teach beginner classes, and when I look at it, I notice that people overwork the acrylic and how they're tapping with the brush. That's what's causing the problem. For the most part, if you're working with a good acrylic, the acrylic is already doing the work for you. So all you really need to do is tap and guide it. And also whenever you're stroking the acrylic, you need to stroke it from the back. So instead of like jabbing it with the tip of your brush, when you place that acrylic down and you tuck it in the cuticle area and you're ready to flush your acrylic, come from like the back end and flush it. Like, I wish I could show like the more details, but all I'm trying to say is like stop using the tip of the brush to create like ditches in the acrylic. So now I'm going to come in with my 80/80 hand file and I'm going to shape the nail, making sure I get underneath and my side walls as well. You want to make sure that when you're shaping, you're using a very good file, because if you're using a file that's too dull, you're going to be giving yourself extra work. So make sure that your file is nice and sharp, and if you're using a new file, you can always come in with your old file and score it just by like using the old file to go over the edges of the new file. That way you remove all the sharpness from it and it's not going to cut your client so easy. Also, whenever you're shaping, you want to make sure you hold your file up against the nail nice and firm and giving the file like a very good stroke, because sometimes you're filing but you're not applying the pressure to the nail, and that's why the shape is not coming out nice and crisp, because you're being too like gentle. You need to hold the file up against the nail and give it firm strokes like you really want to shape the nail. And I know some people do their free edge by going side to side, but I like to go up and down to get my free edge nice and sharp. going to be using my medium drill bit, and I'm going to use my bit to go over the surface of the nail, the tip of the nail, and cleaning my sidewalls, my cuticles, and making everything nice and flat. So whenever I'm drilling, I always make sure that I use my bit to do most of the work. That way I don't have to use my hand file. Whenever you're drilling, you want to make sure you're getting your cuticle area. You want to make sure that you seal your cuticles, because if you prep and do everything right, but you didn't seal your cuticles, like what I'm doing right now, I'm using that bit and I'm getting the back end. You have to make sure that you seal your cuticles, because if you do not seal your cuticles, the nail is going to lift easily. So you always want to make sure that you seal your cuticles nicely, and also you want to make sure that whenever you're drilling, you have your pinky finger on your client's hand or on your hand, because you want to make sure that you're keeping your drill completely stable. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by using your pinky finger as your stabilizer. Also, when I'm drilling, I'm usually at around 18 to 20,000 RPMs. You do not have to be at 20 or 18. You can be at 15, 14. That works as well. Whatever you are comfortable with. And whenever I'm drilling, I hold my drill like I'm holding a pen. So if you're wondering how to hold your drill, hold the drill like you're holding your pen, and rest your pinky finger and make sure that your pinky finger is always following you. Wherever you go, your pinky finger should not move from your, it should not move, like you should still have it resting somewhere. Look at my pinky finger, is always following me. If I move the drill over, I put my pinky finger over. So you need to do that, or else the drill is going to just keep rotating all over the nail. And also you want to make sure that you keep your drill bit moving. Like, don't keep it in one place, because then the drill is going to start heating up, and that's going to like burn your clients. So you want to make sure that you keep your drill moving. That way you don't burn your clients. Also, you want to always make sure that whenever you're drilling, you're using a drill bit that's not too dull, because you're going to spend like a longer time drilling and the acrylic is not moving. And if the bit is dull, it heats up faster as well. So you need to make sure you're changing out your bit. Like for me, I change my bit every 3 months. I think my bits last like for 3 months, and that's usually okay for me as well. So you want to make sure you're not working with a dull drill bit. It depends on the design that I'm doing, that determines if I'm going to go over with my sanding band and make the nail extremely smooth. Sometimes I don't do this, but sometimes I do. It depends on how my nails are looking or what design I'm about to do. But I could tell you that using your sanding band also is going to help the polish last longer, because sometimes just with the drill bit, it leaves it so smooth, so the polish might chip easier. But yeah, I use my sanding band based on the design that I'm doing. So now I'm just going to come and buff my nails. I don't buff it too much, because then I don't want to make my nails too smooth. I'm just trying to get rid of like the extra ditches, and that way when I polish, that doesn't show through the polish. Now I'm just going to dust the nail and give my client some sugar scrub to wash her hands, and I'm going to give her a hot towel wrap just to remove any excess oils that might have been in the sugar scrub, because you know I'm about to be polishing. So whenever you do any type of massage or sugar scrubs, you want to make sure when your client gets back, you cleanse their nail properly to remove the excess oil that the sugar scrub or oils might have left. And just now I use my Young Nail Swipe and lint-free wipes to cleanse the nail. So now I'm just going to use some pink and black polish. That's the design that she wants. So what I decided to do is I was going to start, but then I noticed that I needed a base color. So I have this D&D polish that I love so much. Like, I get these polishes so for purposes like this, if I don't have a base or if the base that they have won't work, I could always come in and polish. So I'm just going to polish over this really fast before I start my design. On the pointer finger and the thumb, I'm going to be doing a French. So when you're doing a French, just like how I said before, when you're using your drill bit, you also want to make sure that your pinky finger is resting on your finger. That way you're going to keep your nail art brush stable, because if not, the line is not going to be as crisp. So your pinky finger is very, very crucial. Also, whenever I'm doing a French, I just go for one shot. I eyeball it. Like, the more you do a French is the more you know like what look you're going for, how much you need to go in, how much you need to stay out. So when I started to do French, I didn't do all the V's and all that extra stuff. I just practiced like eyeballing it and shooting my shot for one straight circle. So I go from one side and meet in the middle, and then I eyeball my French, making sure it's nice and crisp, and then I just shade the rest of it in. But I think if you practice doing your French like this, it's going to get so easy, because the more you do it, you're going to be able to eyeball it better and better each time. So practice doing your French like this. It might not look good in the first part, but I could tell you after your 5th or 6th French, your eye is going to be so good at just be like, okay, 1 bomb, 2 bomb, and then you just fill the rest of it in and shade the sides. I'm telling you, practice your French like this. It's going to be so much easier. And also make sure that you have a good nail art brush as well. On this pointer finger, I'm going to be doing a drip design. So I'm going to be using my dotting tool and place the dots wherever I want my drips to be. So of course, whenever you're doing any type of drip, where the drip starts need to be a little bit bigger than the rest of the drip, of course, so it has that, like, it had the effect that it needs. Then I'm going to use my nail art brush to shade the rest of it in. On the middle finger, I'm going to be doing a ghost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the white part first. Because you know, like with nail art, sometimes it all depends on what you did first. That determines like how hard the design is going to be. So sometimes we start off doing the wrong things first, and that's me with nail art. Like I have to teach myself like, okay, if you do that first, then that part would have been easier. So what I noticed with doing the ghost, because some before I used to do the black part first, and now I switch it to doing the white part first. So take my advice, do the white part of your ghost first, then you do the black part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the white part first. I think that's the ghost, and then the other black part is what, like the shield or whatever the ghost was wearing, I guess. So I'm going to do the white part first, cure that, then I'm going to come in and do the black part. now I'm finished with my ghost, and remember, in between each thing you need to be curing your design, that way you're not making a mess. So now for the web, I'm going to go ahead and draw some lines, and notice my pinky finger is still in place because that's the only way you're going to be able to do it. So you're going to draw some lines, and then what I notice is when you're doing your lines, try not to take breaks. Just go for it in one shot, because when you stop the line, like, it's so hard to keep the line straight. So when you're drawing a line, just do like one shot. Do the line in one shot, at least try. And then I'm going to do the other part of the web. As you can see, it's like making like some U's, I guess. And then I'm going to cure that and do the rest of it, which is going to be the pinky finger. I'm going to be putting like a spider charm on it and put bling rhinestones on the rest of it. So what happened with this thing, because I used the Macart glue to apply my stones and my spider, all that good stuff. I love the Macart glue, but also I think because my chair is closer to the window, the glue was drying on me. I was like, why is the glue getting hard? And I'm like, I think it's maybe because my chair is so close to the window, so that sunlight, the UV, is curing the gel. That was crazy. So then I had to stop because I noticed the spider keeps turning, and I'm like, why is the spider turning? That's not where I placed it. So then I had to take the spider off, put it back on, and that was a whole mess. So that was my experience from that. I couldn't tell why it was doing that, but then I noticed it's because maybe I'm closer to my window now because I changed suite. So I think it's that sunlight that was curing the gel. So that was that for that. You're going to see when I removed it and all that stuff and put it back. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and don't forget to hit that like button right now, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys for being an 876 supporter. Please, please, please don't forget to hit like and share my video. That way YouTube can push my content. And this is the final results. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you do this design as well. This was also, as I showed you guys in the picture, somebody else's design, and she wanted it. So recreate this design. It's super cute. It's not so hard. Until next time, take care. Bye.